Hi, welcome to Cup of Chocolate. I'm Shoko. In each episode of this podcast, a friend and I will be chatting and discussing listener-submitted stories and gossip. So grab a cup and let's chat. Hello, hello.
Hey, you hear me?
All right. I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yes, let me just put in my AirPods.
All right.
There we go. You
No
hear me
problem.
clear? Oh my God,
Yes,
I'm like so happy to talk to you. Like, really.
I know.
Oh my
Finally, we
God.
got this.
Literally. Like, thank you for
I,
like having me be a part of this. Honestly, I feel so special. Like, you don't even know.
girl,
This is like my
no. I am
first
so honored to
podcast.
have you here.
No, thank you. I really appreciate this. I'm excited. So just
Oh,
tell me
I
what we
am
gotta
so
do.
excited. Yeah. Well, let me introduce you to the people. So,
Okay.
I am here today with my sweet girl Naheema or Hema.
NYC.
Yes. You are YouTuber, streamer, funny ass girl from Brooklyn.
Period.
Period. So your YouTube handle is okay. Let me spell this out now.
Mm-hmm.
Capital H, then
Mm-hmm.
lowercase
Mm-hmm.
EEMAAA,
Yes.
capital NYC.
Yes.
So tell
Mm-hmm.
me about your YouTube.
Well, I initially started my channel just because I have a big personality, as you probably seen when you met me on
I
Threads.
love it. My favorite
And
personality.
oh my God, stop. And I just like started by making like story times. And then I was doing that and everybody was like interested in it. And then what really made me start blowing up and kind of figuring out my niche was I made this reaction video to Nicki Minaj's song that she had did with Vibes Cartel at the time. And
Mm.
that video took off. That video got like 5K views like the first 2 days. I was like,
Oh
whoa, hold on.
man.
So that's like when I just kept going with the reaction videos after a while, and I just kept going from there. It was fun to do, but then I started
Hmm.
realizing I kind of want to make my own content instead of reacting off of other people's stuff. So then
Okay. Yeah.
I started going back to like story times. I started like doing like boyfriend tag videos with like my boyfriend, but
Hmm.
he's kind of like, he doesn't like to be on camera, so I couldn't get him to do too many of those. And then I just kept, just making videos, just showing my personality. I did slow down after COVID though,
Hmm.
because I felt like, I don't know, like, see, I'm from New York, and when you see a city that's like vibrant and alive go from seeing everyone outside to it's a ghost town,
Oh
that shit
yeah.
is like depressing. And I was kind of like, I don't want to say I was depressed, but like I had like depressive states for like a really long
Mm.
time, like in and out. And it kind of
Hmm.
like made me lose my motivation for YouTube. And that's like when I started like getting into Twitch and stuff. And then
Hmm.
TikTok came out and I started doing that. So I kind of just been trying to like find myself as a personality,
Yeah.
but I know what I want to do, and it is make content. Like, I just love making content. It's really fun, it's expressive for me, and I just really love doing it.
That's so awesome. Where do you get your inspiration for your content? Is it just like something that like suddenly comes to you, or do you have like inspirations?
Well, yes, a lot of it does come from my brain, but I
Mm-hmm.
do like to ask others, like, hey, what do you think I should make a video on today? Or like doing like Q&As and stuff like that. And I actually
Mm.
wanted to do a Q&A video for the new year.
Oh
Surprise, surprise.
yeah.
But I wanted to, you know, just get inspiration from people if it doesn't always come from me, just to know what the public would want to see, honestly, because I want to make content that makes people laugh. I just love when people are happy. I love that shit. Like,
Yes.
so that's really where I get my inspiration from myself or from others. Specifically, there are content creators that I do like. I mean, Denzel Dion, like Ricky's Denzel Dion's best friend. So Ricky
Mm.
Thompson. Like I watch so many YouTubers. Like I wouldn't even like waste my time listing it. But yeah, but there are just so many people that I get inspiration from, and I'm like a super extrovert, and plus I feel like I have ADHD brain. So once I get the ball rolling, it is like really hard for me to stop.
That's
um
awesome.
yeah, so that's where like that comes from with my YouTubing and
Mm.
stuff.
That's great. And I love how you
Thanks.
mentioned how the whole, pandemic thing kind of, you know,
Yeah,
put a
it kind
wrench in
of like
things.
muted. Yeah,
Yeah.
it like muted my personality for a second. I didn't feel
Yeah.
like
Oh.
me at all,
Yeah.
and it's fine because I'm definitely like back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like going to
Good.
therapy now. Like I'm just like I'm not playing. Like
Right.
2024 is my
Yes.
year. You're gonna see me
Yeah.
in everything. Like music. I know most people don't even know, but I am basically a rapper and I make music. That is like one of my favorite creative outlets. I didn't even know, girl. I didn't even know I could rap. I didn't
That's
even know I
amazing.
could rap. But I did it one time on like a beat that I liked, and I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa, this sounds good. Let me go to a studio. Went to the studio, recorded it. It was really good. I'm
Oh,
like,
so
oh, this
it's
is
it's
another
been it's
outlet.
been shopped. It's already there is
Oh
something.
yes. But I'm
Yeah.
kind of like self-conscious about my music. And then when I play it for
Okay.
people, like I bet if I played my song, you'd be like, girl, why the hell is this not out? Because
Yeah.
I
I
don't
want
know
to hear
why. I
it.
just feel about it. I don't know, but my friend, he's in the industry, and
Mm-hmm.
he's starting to be in the industry, I should say. And he
Mm.
is the one that's like pushing me. He's like, nah, we're making music together. So I
Yes.
have officially made 2 songs with him. I made my first drill beat song ever,
Mm-hmm.
like last month, which I've never did a drill beat ever. So I'm really excited to basically come
Hold
out with
on,
like
hold on. Explain a drill beat to me because
So
I'm
I got you. So drill beat is a beat that originated from Chicago, Illinois, but
Mm-hmm.
you're probably most familiar with hearing like a Pop Smoke type
Okay.
beat, like Pop
Mm-hmm.
Smoke, Fabio Foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the most famous people that you might know. Because if I start naming
Okay.
people from Brooklyn too much, you're gonna be like, who's that? But another
Right.
person who has like a drill beat is like Ice Spice. Her beats are kind of
Mm.
drilly, like that type
Okay.
beat. I've never rapped on a
Yes.
beat like that until last month for the first time. And
Oh,
I've probably been making
cool.
music for about 3 to 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I only released one song only, and I made a music video for that. So
What?
yeah, girl,
Where
it's on my
is this?
YouTube channel.
It's on your YouTube channel? Okay. So everyone's
Yes,
gotta
it's
go
so
check
cringe.
out Hema's YouTube. All right, I'm gonna check it out
Yes.
after this.
It's called It Don't Matter.
It
And
don't
that
matter. Mm-hmm.
song, I don't know, I just was feeling like it don't matter. Like, I don't know, but I was feeling that way in that moment, and I created the whole song. One of my friends from DC sent me a beat, and I was like,
Mm.
okay. And I wrote a song, and then I went to the studio with her. She helped me make the song. She helped me with the ad libs. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
the verse and the
Yeah.
chorus. And then that was my first ever song I ever created, ever went to the studio and made. And then after that, I kept writing more. But like I said, I feel this weird thing about my music where it's like, okay, it's good to me, but will other people think it's good, or will other people think it's
Sure.
whack?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I kind of like keep a bunch of music in an archive. But like I said, my friends pushing me to like go outside of that boundary and just be like, yo, put your music out,
Yeah.
Hema. Your shit is lit. Like you could rap. So I'm like starting to feel myself more. And you're definitely gonna hear music from me 2024. I promise.
Oh, yes. All right, so the next time you're gonna be a guest on this podcast, you're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to sample one of your new
Yes, I
songs.
got you. I got you. I'm gonna make sure it's the crispest version for you. I
Mm,
got you.
crisp. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, as I was saying, you brought up the pandemic, and the story I have for you today is about. It's going to bring us back to mid-pandemic when everyone was in lockdown. So we'll do a little time slip. Do you have your drink ready?
Yeah, I've been kind of drinking. I had to slow down, girl. When you texted me, I was
No,
like,
no, no,
ooh, I'm a little
no. I
drunk.
I want to know what you're drinking. What are you having?
I am drinking a Corona. I'm currently at my lovely boyfriend's Spanish family, and all they do
Oh,
is drink. I was
awesome.
gonna take shots with them, but I'm like I said, I have to come and do this podcast with my girl, and I can't be super inebriated. That would be just unprofessional at that point.
That would be well
Like,
hilarious. So next time, first
you
first
can get drunk
episode,
me
yes,
after today.
yes. I love it. Well, I
Yes.
have in my cup, I have some chamomile tea because I'm going to be honest with
Ooh,
you.
I love
Last
that.
night, mom and dad went on a date,
Period,
and
period. What happened after?
we went on a date, and this was the first time because I just recently stopped breastfeeding our
Right,
youngest,
I know.
right? So this was the first time I had alcohol in legit 5 years.
Girl, what?
Oh, girl.
The discipline.
Oh, well, back to back pregnancies and then breastfeeding. So
Right.
it's
Oh
it's
my
been a
God.
minute. And I was pacing myself. I only had a beer and one glass of wine, but still, that was too much for me. So I've got a
Oh,
little
my
baby
baby.
hangover. So I've got some chamomile tea.
I
It's
love that for you.
also
And I love that type of tea
it's
because
so good.
I am a
It's
tea
so good.
enthusiast, girl. If you didn't know that about me, I
Mm.
love teas. Like, yes. That's
Oh, I
why I
had no
like,
idea.
yes, I love me some tea. As long as it has sugar though, because I still am American and I have to make sure that it's like tasty for me because America just
Right.
needs everything sweet as hell. But I love me some tea, girl. Hmm.
Yum. Put me on. What's your favorite kind of tea?
Oh, I'm so basic. Don't put me on a spot. I mean,
Sorry.
let me think. What do I like? I mean, peppermint. Like I said, that's basic, but I
Oh,
really love me some
yes.
peppermint tea. I don't know, something about
Mm.
peppermint tea makes me feel like I'm cleaning my system. I might be lying to myself, but hey, that's how
No,
I
no,
feel.
no. I feel that. Yeah.
So I like peppermint. Taro tea is really good
Ooh,
too.
yep.
Like yes, especially the bubble tea, girl.
Mm.
Mm,
Ooh, yes,
so
yes.
good,
I'm
so
all about
purple,
the
so
bubble
good.
tea.
Yes, like, and that's my favorite color too. Shout out to the purple people.
Oh,
I love me some taro
purple.
tea. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just love tea, but I love liquor more. And
Mm-hmm.
right
Mm-hmm.
now, I am drinking a Corona, and I'm also
Mm-hmm.
drinking some Molly's. And no, not the
Mm-hmm.
drug. It's a I don't want to say it's an off-brand version, but it's a cheaper version of Bailey's. So anybody
Oh,
knows
interesting.
Bailey's, they know that Bailey's
Yes.
is like $60 for that little ass bottle. Well, no, you can go and get the giant bottle of Molly's for like $29, and it's big and it tastes better to me.
Oh,
I'll be
interesting.
just as drunk. Like I love it. So that's what I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking two types of liquor, some beer, and then this little milk Irish Molly's drink. It's great.
All right. So you're having a good time. Well,
I am.
well, let's get down to the story so that you can get back to drinking with your man's family. Um,
No, it's okay. You can hold me hostage. He had enough time with me.
all right. So let's take a sip before we start the story. Are you ready?
Yes, I got you right now.
All
Mm,
right. Here we go.
mm,
Oh,
so good.
yum. All right. So, full disclosure, this story is not a listener submission, but it is a Reddit story from the subreddit r Today I Fucked Up. Um,
Oh,
yep. So
okay.
I am I am getting stories in from listeners, but sometimes it's not as many. And right now, at this point when we are doing this recording, I've been like, cranking out the podcast so that I have enough, on backup ready for the new year.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, please send in your stories because I'd rather be sharing your stories than getting
Then
them
some
off
people we don't
Reddit.
even know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like
Mm-hmm.
the subreddit are Today I Fucked Up is great. It's a gold mine for stories. But, you know, I want to hear from my friends.
Period. I felt.
Exactly. So, all right, here we go. Even though I got this story from Reddit, all the names I've changed, so it's still anonymous. I guess it's double
Mm-hmm.
anonymous or whatever.
Right.
Anyways, so this story is going to take us back to mid-pandemic, lockdown era, and let me tell you, so in Japan, I spent the pandemic in Japan, and so
Mm.
we didn't really have a lockdown in the sense that you guys did in the States.
Mm.
And like I only heard and saw what what information I got from like social media and the TV. And like even New York, like you just mentioned, it sounded like it was like post apocalyptic. It must have
Girl,
been so weird.
I don't even like to think about it because it's so crazy. I couldn't believe that
Yeah.
New York looked so empty. Like New York has 12.9 million people in the whole
Mm,
state. I live
yeah.
in Brooklyn. We have 6 million people in Brooklyn. Imagine seeing 6 million faces. You probably don't see 6 million faces, but you see maybe 10,000 people a day,
Yeah.
probably more. But now you see nobody. You don't
That's
see anyone.
insane.
Everyone was afraid.
I'm
And
getting
when you
goosebumps
did
just
go
hearing this.
outside,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, girl, when you went outside, the bus driver didn't want to be near you, like, but they
Mm.
still had to go to work, and the train, they were like, it was empty, and oh my God, son, like, it was really insane. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I
Oh.
couldn't. They suspended street parking. We have this thing with street parking
Mm.
where you have to
Yeah.
switch your parking, you have to switch your car
Oh, right,
to
right.
one side of the road every other day except for Wednesdays and the weekends, I think.
Mm.
And they suspended it because the city was afraid to send their workers outside because they
Oh
didn't
my
want to die. Like, it
gosh.
was that
Yeah.
insane.
Oh,
Like, it was
it's like a
just,
zombie
and then
movie.
during that pandemic, I actually was working at UPS,
Oh
and I
no.
got to see, like, let me tell you, um, any type of package handler, whether it's UPS,
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, DHL, any of those people, those are essential workers. Those are
Yeah,
people. They are just as important as a doctor. Let me tell you
absolutely.
why. If those people don't go outside, if they say, I don't want to do this, we're not getting no medication. We're not getting
Mm-mm.
anything. We're all just going to be stuck. Okay. And when I
Oh my
got to see
gosh.
that job, I got to see these people basically risk their lives to go up in hospitals and everything. You know, it was like
Yeah.
a ghost town. You saw these, you know, during COVID, like, a lot of, there was like a lot of misconceptions and stuff. So you didn't know what was always
Mm-hmm.
true and not. And then I'm
Mm.
living in New York City, so I'm seeing the truth while people are online like lying and stuff. And one of the
Right.
things I thought was propaganda that ended up being real, there were these big giant trucks, these long trucks. Like, you see those trucks that Walmart drivers, like, they drive these big trucks from state to
Yes.
state.
Yes.
Those big trucks. Imagine a truck like that parked in Brooklyn, and
Mm.
they're filling bodies in there.
Yeah, because so
Yes.
I saw that news here in
Yes.
Japan and I was like, no, this is not
Yeah,
true.
I
Like
was like, it
what?
couldn't be real, and it was. I walked
That's
right past the hospital
insane.
and saw it,
Oh,
and I was just like, this is so depressing. Like, I can't do this. Like, I was
yeah.
crying some days, not
Mm.
crying other days. Like, I couldn't do videos because one of my biggest things I say when I
Mm.
do a YouTube video, it has to be authentic, like, in
Yeah,
myself. Like, I can't just do a video just because I need to push out content.
totally.
So when I was doing it, I just had to stop because I felt so sad inside. I was like, I can't do this. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it was just really real and eye opening. And I just had to, one, be grateful that I never contracted COVID ever. Even till this day, I never got COVID. And
Oh, that's
two,
awesome.
I just saw, like, some people's friends, their aunts died and people died. My grandfather got sick. He's still alive, thank God. Like,
Oh, thank
it was
God.
just so much. And that social distancing thing, could you
Mm-hmm.
imagine? I just told you my city has 6 million people in our borough,
Oh,
Brooklyn. How
yeah.
can we social distance? Everyone's piled up on each other. If your brother gets sick and y'all all live in an apartment, and it's a
Mm.
two-bedroom apartment, but 6 of y'all live in there, how can you social distance from your brother? You can't.
Right.
So I'm grateful to have lived in a home. I live in a home because my mom does have a
Mm.
home in Brooklyn. But
Mm.
a lot of people's circumstances in New York was not that. They had to be piled up on top of each other, quarantine their sibling in one room while the rest of them live in the kitchen, and all types of stuff like that. So it was just
Oh.
really, like, eye opening, and I just, just learned to, like, just be grateful for life and just be grateful in
Mm-hmm.
general.
Oh
And
man.
through that, like, sadness, I just kind of, like, came through on the other side, self-reflected on myself, and just
Mm-hmm.
started seeing things that I wanted to change. I started to go to therapy
Mm.
during the pandemic, but then I stopped. Like I said, just emotionally imbalanced all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
like, I just had to, like, reset myself or something like that, like,
Yeah.
mentally. And
Yeah,
now is like the
definitely.
time where I'm like, okay, I'm better now. And it did take that long because COVID was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But some people
Right.
are still adjusting. Some people are still
Yeah.
sick. some people aren't here anymore, and you just have to like count your blessings, because I feel like there's a misconception in the world that people assume
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna live until you're 80 and 90, and it's like, no, you can die when you're 16, you can die when you're 20, you can die at any
Absolutely.
moment, and you can't
Mm.
forget your mortality at all. You have to always be grateful, and no matter what you're going through, my message is always like, no matter what you're going through, always remember that somebody could be going through something 10 times worse than you. So
Mm.
just not suck it up, but like, keep moving, because it's somebody that
Right,
can't walk
right.
anymore.
Mm.
Like, it was really
Absolutely.
crazy, girl. Like, I'm
Oh,
so glad it's over. You started
it's
giving me
over.
anxiety when I was talking about it. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it was too real.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish I could have watched it on the TV. No.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. So today's story is going to be a funny good one. Like
mm-hmm.
it's I mean, it's tragic in a very funny way. So
Okay.
it's a pandemic story, but it's a funny one. Okay.
Mm.
So this story comes from we'll name him Chris. Okay.
Okay.
So Chris is in lockdown. It's been a few months. It's been like lockdown has been around like almost a year now. So it's like mid pandemic.
Okay.
So Chris is in lockdown. He's feeling a bit lonely and decides to look for love.
Mm.
All
Mm.
right. Mm. so so he tries out a dating app and is matched up with Sarah. So
Mm.
this is mid lockdown in the U.S. So it's pretty serious. Dates at this time were more like socially distanced walking dates. Um,
Oh, okay. Like a
hmm,
FaceTime call where you're walking down the sidewalk. Okay, got you.
yeah,
Not
yeah. I think
together, but
well, you are together, but you're just like you're just walking. They're clearly not from New York because there is space to distance.
okay, okay.
So yeah, so they're like, you're walking in a park, but you're just not close enough to hold hands, basically.
Mm,
All right. So
okay.
Chris and Sarah have a very enjoyable first date. They live in a city that has access to a mountainous region with lots of great walking trails. The first date was very good, very civil, and they were both excited and looking forward to a second date. So far, so good.
Okay.
Around time for the second date, Chris realizes that his hair is in desperate need for a haircut, like badly.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Man, my boyfriend was looking like a werewolf. Oh my
Oh,
God.
oh, girl. So yeah.
Oh
So
my
Chris is looking like a werewolf too.
Mm,
Right.
okay.
The world has been on lockdown for quite a while. The last time Chris had his haircut was around 7 or 8 months ago in the beginning of the lockdown by an ex-girlfriend who gave him a buzz
Oh
cut.
no.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's been a while. Chris figures that a buzz cut is simple enough that he could do it himself again. How do you feel about that?
First of all, I know where this is going. He done pushed his hairline back. First of all, he shouldn't have done that. He should have been his true self. And if Sarah did not
Hmm.
want to be with him or continue, well then that's it. Because I don't know, like I think that's kind of shallow to kind of judge somebody on their looks during the pandemic. Like, girl, first of all, we're on FaceTime. You don't gotta see this in person. And second of all, this man ready to push his own hairline back to look presentable to you. When after you see him, y'all still not gonna be able to link up because we still in the situation. So
Oh yeah. So actually,
that's
well,
how I
they do
feel.
they do go on like face to face dates. It's not FaceTime.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
they're like, um, they just it's like you're just talking with someone as you have a walk together, but you're not you're just
Oh,
outdoors kind of thing.
okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
So for some reason though, Chris procrastinates and decides to leave the buzz cut until the morning of the date.
Mm.
Mm. Which I kind of get, Chris, because I know when like I have something exciting coming up, for some reason I'll be like, "Oh, now is my chance to like give myself bangs," or just like change something up so that I'm like,
Mm.
fresh and good for this, for whatever I'm excited for. But it never ever ever goes out the way that it should.
I feel you.
Yes.
See
So,
me,
mhm,
I was gonna say, just to interject, that's like
yeah.
why. See me, like as a black girl with like 4C hair, I can't do things
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, let me do it right now in the morning. I have
Mm.
a day in the afternoon. No, my day. When it comes to my hair has like the day revolves around my hair, so I don't have the same
Ah,
luxuries as like waking up and doing stuff real quick. Sometimes I
yeah.
still do it, like today, like I just went
Mm.
out looking whatever, and it still looks cute to me. But this is not how like I would go to a party or
Right.
on a date at all. So I just think it depends, honestly.
Absolutely. So that day, this is date day. Chris
Hmm.
wakes up 3 hours before the date, which, honey,
Yeah, you're
three
late.
hours. Oh gosh.
Like, come on.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, this is a guy, so I
Right.
mean, it takes me
He is a
3 hours to
man.
get ready. So,
But like men like procrastinate until the last minute. They just do
yes,
that.
yes.
So, okay.
Mhm. So Chris wakes up 3 hours before the date and begins shaving off the hair from the top of his head with his electric clipper. Now, let me tell you about this clipper. It's cheap, it's rechargeable,
Oh,
um, and so 7 to 8 months of hair growth, as you can imagine, is pretty long. He's got, he's like Shaggy.
okay.
And Chris's hair grows pretty quickly. So in this period, his hair has gone quite long and floppy all around.
Mm,
Mm.
okay.
So,
I'm just taking it in. I'm sorry.
oh, go
Like
ahead. Yes.
don't mind my sound effects. Like I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. So after lopping off the hair in the front right portion of his head, the clipper starts to die.
Ooh,
Ooh. But no reason to panic, thinks Chris. He's just going to plug the clipper into the wall, right? Because it's a rechargeable one, and continue
right.
shaving.
Okay.
Well, Chris is going to learn today. So he learns that the most cheapo electric rechargeable clippers use more electricity than they get from the outlet. So if they're too low on battery, they're just not going to work, even if they're plugged in.
Oh, so now he look lopsided because he ain't finished
Mm.
everything. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. At this
The plot
point, right?
thickens.
Yeah, the plot thickens and his hair does not.
Damn.
So at this point, Chris has lopped off the long part of the right front of his head. It does not look good.
Okay. Ooh.
Chris has a roommate, thank goodness, John. So he's not all alone here doing this by himself. He shows his hair to John to see if there's any way that this could be salvaged. John finds this absolutely hilarious, but tries to help his buddy. They decide to leave the clippers to charge up for an hour, right? So they have 3 hours. You're going to lose an hour, but maybe if it's charged up, then we have the last hour to finish up the hair.
Okay.
This is John's idea. And Chris is like, all right, but he's kind of freaking out. He's eyeing the clock this whole time because it is ticking and coming close to the time he agreed to meet Sarah because they're meeting in person, right?
Right.
So, so after waiting an hour in this anxious agony, Chris decides, okay, let's try again to shave the head. The thing with cheap clippers, though, and remember, it's barely half a charge, it's very slow and doesn't cut well to begin with.
Mm, true.
So yeah, and then you know how clippers have those little guard, so you don't like shave too short.
Yes. Yes. That
Mm-hmm.
little plastic thing, right?
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it has the guard on it, and the clippers are just barely cutting any hair. It's like it's not doing anything. It's doing shit. So Chris, with the help of John, manages to trim off a little bit more, but it's still pretty lopsided.
Mm, damn.
So John, who is a true innovator, has the great idea to remove the guard and carefully shave off a bit of the back of Chris's head without getting too close to the scalp. And John is like, I got this. You're my buddy. I got this. I'm not going to mess it up. And he's just like, I am Edward Scissorhands. He's got this. He's a pro. Can you guess how that went?
I mean, he probably gave him a little baldy. Something was
Yep.
wrong.
So John's hand slips and he accidentally shaves a huge section straight down to the scalp. John
Oh
finds this
my
hilarious.
God.
He's just like, he's in hysterics. He is laughing. And Chris is like, ugh.
No.
At this point, Chris is out of time and he needs to leave for the date. If this was just like a FaceTime date, then like, he could just be like, hey, give me another minute. But no, he has to meet Sarah at the park. So, what is worse, being late to a second date or arriving to a date with a horribly botched haircut? What are you taking?
What is worse?
Yeah.
Honestly, shoot, but it's COVID. So I would say ooh, this is a lot. Can I
Yeah.
say, can he put a hat on and arrive on time? Like, this is crazy. If
Right,
I feel
right.
like if he arrives on time but explains himself,
Hmm.
it would seem more, there'd be some compassion there than just like showing up late, because even if you try to explain yourself after coming late, like the girl might be
Hmm.
like, okay, but you were still late.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I'm feeling too.
Like,
And
she could
that's
try to understand, but
right, right.
if
I'd
she
rather
doesn't, then you're still asked out. So put on
exactly.
a hat
Yeah. I'd rather
and go
not be
over
left to
there.
wait. Hmm.
Yes, do not leave that girl waiting, Chris.
No. So picture Chris here. Most of the right side of his head is shaved down to a very close inch or so. The left is completely uncut, long and shaggy. The back of his head is mostly uncut except for a massive bald patch. Mm-mm. But Chris and Sarah had a great first date, right? So things were going well. So they vibed. They were both excited for the second date. Chris is optimistic. He's like, okay, maybe she'll think this is punk. Maybe she'll like it. Uh,
Okay. So he didn't put a hat on. Gotcha. All right.
well, no, he does put a hat on. Chris wears a hat
Amen.
to the date.
He's
So
smart.
smart boy, smart boy. Um, I don't know what kind of hat it was, but still, it is pretty obvious that something is terribly wrong underneath the hat.
Ooh.
So Chris meets up with Sarah and immediately tells her the story about what happened to his hair. He's like, check this out. This is a crazy story. It's a hilarious story. Maybe she'll find it funny or cute and endearing. So Chris offers to take off the hat so she can see and they can have a grand old laugh. Um, Sarah is not that kind of girl. She absolutely recoils and really does not want Chris to remove his hat. She looks extremely embarrassed to be seen with him. So Sarah is not chill. um, as planned, they do keep their walking date, but at this point, Chris has realized Sarah is probably not the right match for him. How do you feel about this? Okay, we're
Thank you,
back.
Jesus. I would like to apologize, everyone. The ghetto. Yes.
No problem.
I
We
went and got
have a
myself a
little
beer.
technical difficulties.
Yes.
No problem. We're back in action.
But I
Okay.
literally heard your question. You were like, how basically sis looked at him and was like, no.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And my opinion basically on it is like, I knew she would do that, but I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather him have been on time. So now it just looks like she's being judgy.
Yes. She is not very chill.
No, not at all.
Excellent.
Horrible.
So let's see, where were we? Okay, so yeah, so she's just like, I don't even want to be seen with this guy. But as planned, they do keep their walking date. But at this point, Chris has realized that Sarah is probably not the right match for him. Good.
Okay, good. I love that for him. Stand up
Yeah.
king, period.
Mm-hmm. Stand up king. They have an amicable second date. I mean, it's okay. The conversation's whatever, but obviously there is no third date.
I love that.
Yeah. But so that's the end of our story, but a little update from Chris.
Oh,
Oh. So after the date, Chris was able to go home and painstakingly, very, very slowly, finish shaving his hair. So he got his buzz cut. um, he is no longer in that weird, like half long, half short, half bald situation.
Yeah.
But this experience has taught him that he does prefer a partner with a sense of humor who would enjoy the
Yes.
comic of this chaos and and enjoy him being a goof rather than be, embarrassed by him.
Right.
And yeah, and Chris has even joked that he may continue to cut his hair all wacky before dates to test
Just to test people.
to test them
Stop.
out.
Oh my God, I
What do you
love
feel
it.
about that?
Honestly, it reminds me of the whole, it's similar to the whole, oh, take her to a pool date on the first date to see like if she
Oh,
swims in the water, how
yes.
she looks type
Uh,
thing. It's similar. It's not the same, but it reminds me of the
mhm.
same concept because you want to see someone's like true, authentic self behind what you're presenting as. And I think
Yeah.
that's funny because it's like, yeah, like the fact that it was like that situation and she still couldn't find the humor, like, no, she
Hmm.
didn't deserve to be with him because people are going to have their up and down days, girl. Like, please.
Right. Right.
Like,
And who's to say she's not gonna like randomly cut her bangs like crooked or too
right.
short? Like
Hmm. You know,
exactly.
I just feel like it's important to be in a relationship when you're not always looking the most presentable, that the person still
Hmm.
cares and loves you. Like, you shouldn't always have to have your hair done and your nails
Exactly.
done and all of that stuff done to be loved. Like, what the hell? Like, that's
Exactly.
literally really shallow to me.
Hmm.
And I don't think that that person deserves to be with a good person or any person. They should be by themselves because that's super judgmental to me.
Yeah.
Everyone's not going to always look their best, and you should take the good with the bad. You can't, someone's not going to always be, you know, one way
Right.
all the time.
Right. I think it's a very narcissistic view if you think that someone else needs to be like always 100 because you're not going to
Yes.
be 100, right? There's going to be times when you're looking like,
Hmm.
a mess. And if your
Period.
partner, yeah, if your partner can't take you at your worst, like how is that going
Yeah.
to make you feel?
And it's just like, I
Hmm.
don't know. I think that's like the biggest green flag when someone, like when you can like roll out of bed and someone still love you and care, and it's
Mhm.
not, oh, go get yourself presentable first before you address me. Like, ew, get away.
Yeah.
Get away
Yeah.
from me. Like, one of like my biggest insecurities is like my hair, right? I don't like when it's not always quote unquote done.
Mhm.
And one thing I noticed really quick with my boyfriend is like he
Mm.
likes when it's in an afro. He likes when it's not braided. He likes when
Oh.
it's not twisted. And I was shocked. I thought it was a joke when he first said it. And he's like, "No, I love it like this." And he'll like touch it, play with it. I'm like, "What
Hmm.
is happening here? What is happening here? Like, is this real?"
That's
Because
amazing.
it's very rare to find someone that really cares and loves you in your true authentic self, like,
Yeah.
seriously.
That is so
So if
special.
someone accepts you like that, like if that girl had laughed at his haircut and went along with him, that is what
Mm.
I would call a keeper. But because
Yeah.
she
Oh,
didn't,
totally.
yeah, he definitely dodged a bullet, period.
Yes. Absolutely. So that was our story for today. How do you feel about that?
I'm happy. I'm just happy to be here, guys. I got my beer. I'm just here to
Oh,
answer questions and be a part.
yeah. I'm so happy to have you.
No, thank you.
I
Like,
want
I
you to be
really
back.
appreciate this. Like,
Hmm.
really. Like, you don't even know. Like, I really am happy as fuck right now.
I love it.
Oh,
Yeah, so we will have more people send in stories. I will have you back on this podcast.
I
Um,
will definitely show up more, and I'm gonna start coming up with ideas now. So,
yeah,
because now
yeah.
that I know you're serious, I want to just say this too. Like, I don't know if you're gonna include this or it's gonna be part of it, but I just would like to
Mm,
say, like, that this whole threads thing, it's like
hmm.
motivating me. It's like putting this fire under my ass because, like I told you in the beginning, like, I'm this content creator type
Yeah.
person. And when I saw you like being like, yeah, even though it's December, I want videos that's ready for for February and March. That is the
Mm,
type of timing I want to be on with my YouTube channel. So it
yeah,
inspired
yeah.
me. And not only did it
Oh,
inspire me, it made me happy to be surrounded by a person, a friend, because you're dead ass my friend.
oh.
it made me happy to be surrounded around a person that's like doing what I want to do, in the sense like, like
Oh my
having some type
gosh.
of discipline and pushing content out, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes it so much easier to be that true version of myself. When I look to the left, when I look to my right, and my friends like, yo, come on, let's make this song together. And you're like, come on, let's do this
Yeah.
podcast. Like, it makes me want to go make a
Oh,
freaking video. It makes me want to go
that's
edit. It makes me want to
awesome.
go make a TikTok. Like, thank you. Like, you like
Oh no, thank
sparked,
you.
like you ignited like a flame in me, and it's not going out anytime soon, I promise,
Oh my
because
gosh.
like
Thank you so
literally, thank
much.
you. No
Yeah,
problem,
yeah.
girl. Like,
Yeah, so
literally love you, literally.
oh my gosh, girl, I love you so much. Yeah, like the threads, I'm keeping my, the threads account secret, but I do
Okay.
talk about threads a lot. Like, it's such a great community that we found, like lots of amazing people, lots of really positive people. So I'm just
Yes.
like, I'm obsessed. I'm really enjoying my time there. I don't want my like, family, my parents to like find the stuff that I'm posting. So
Ooh, yikes,
I
you're
mean,
right.
so
So
I'm not
then,
gonna.
since you're not going to include all of this, I do have a question
No,
then.
I am gonna include this.
Oh, because okay, so I have like a question then. Should I like ask you it later?
Sure.
That is completely fine. Like, I just wanted, I have like I have so many questions. I always have a question. No, girl, don't worry about me.
All right. Well,
But
let's here. We can
yeah.
we can have our final sip. We will say our goodbyes, and then I'll call
Yes.
you in the DMs. We will have some
Mm-hmm.
some FaceTime.
Okay, great.
All right. Are you
Yes.
ready for your final sip?
Yes, here we go. Let's
Okay. Here
toast.
we go.
Clink. I hit it against my phone.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Ah.
Mm.
All
Oh,
right. Thank you so much
that was
for joining me
wonderful.
today.
Yes, and I'll be here for you anytime. Just let me know.
Yes. Thank you,
Don't worry,
love.
boo.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna
Bye
hit you up later.
bye. See
All
you.
right.
Thank you for listening to Cup of Chocolate. If you have a story to share with us, some juicy gossip, or you want to come on the show with me and be part of the conversation, DM me at our Instagram account at @MarkCupOfChocolate. This podcast is a labor of love by yours truly, but can't exist without your support and engagement. Let me know your thoughts and feedback. I'm Shoko. Join us again next week for another Cup of Chocolate.